Alright. Fangs of Asterkarn. I am going to do my first run through of this on Elite. I ran around in normal till I found this guy and the entrance to Fangs of Asterkarn.
Just a few days ago, and the rest of my troop, they are savages.
So I am doing this in Elite first just because I'm not sure what choices there are going to be in this kind of first run through here of Fangs. I don't want to be put in a situation where I made a bad choice on this ultimate playthrough, my first playthrough with this character who I've invested a lot of time into, and I mess it up. So I'm going to do my first playthrough here on Elite difficulty, and then later on we'll go through and update that to Ultimate difficulty. I don't normally do these playthroughs where I'm recording because I'm not good at it. I'm barely passable at the premeditated, not quite scripted content, but at least, you know, re-recording things as I go. So this talking over things, we're going to give this a shot and see how bad it is. So far, we've mostly got existing older enemy types here. Ooh, two boys. Wars and ice towers. You die quickly. So, this is a Saboteur. I have a couple of videos on my playthrough this game with this character. This is the first character I made in Grim Dawn in about 5 or 6 years. I have several videos up about it. It's okay. Well, power-wise, it's okay. It is not a powerful build, but I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying this a lot. It's got pretty good ranged, or not ranged, AoE clearing abilities for certain things. But, you know, he's not someone who can take down, you know, the ultimate difficulty super bosses. He just, they did do something. I bet that would have hurt if I were in that. There's a lot of thermite mine action going on with this build. So when I check out thermite mines, they're with number 2. I just can fill the screen with those, basically. You normally throw out 3, I throw out 9, which is nice. So usually the way this works is I throw that out in a Blackwater cocktail, and that usually kills a group of just those 2 things. If I need more than that, I can start throwing out Phantasmal Blades and those fights. Graphic of them coming out of the sky is a little bit weird. It's a bit of polish. Anything here that's interesting? I'm gonna try and be thorough.
Can't do that yet.
It's like Forgotten Gods. There's gonna be little lore notes hidden in random vases and stuff like that.
I can't do that yet.
So this is probably going to be pretty easy playing on Elite here. But again, I don't want to mess up a
That
choice
skill's not ready.
with this character. Even though I could potentially rewind and go back to redo those choices on or normal, I'd rather mess up the choice on Elite than mess it up on a first. So that's the logic here in playing this. Ooh, these frostbite. Frostbite. Fangs of Asterkarn must be Berserker. Okay. Hey, I'm not playing a Berserker for this first playthrough. I'm generally not a form-shifting character person in a game. I don't like that gameplay style of essentially all your power comes from waiting from the cooldown to go back to your different form. I'm not sure if that's how they did it here, but that's usually the trope in games like this. I also don't like... Yeah, it's just weird. I like choosing how my character looks. I don't want them to look like an animal. Alright, we're going to read some more. This parchment's quite old and faded by time. With any luck, this will be the first of many entries I make use of these pages to pontificate upon my work here. May it serve the Empire well. My mission in this miserable cold land is to survey its people, to observe and learn with the singular goal of discovering weakness, so that we might exploit that weakness if circumstances arise that require such crude manipulations. We are unwelcome strangers here. As such, I've employed a local sellsword whose task it will be to provide security and guide us about, disguised as travelers on pilgrimage. My attendants and I have shed our imperial regalia, weapons and equipment, replacing them with the crudely fashioned furs and odd animal leathers worn by locals. It is a filthy manner of dress, made worse by the particular furs our guide has equipped us with. They are heavy and thick with oil that fills the nose, with the repugnant odor of whatever horrible creature has been wearing them. And I scrolled and I lost where I was. Some sort of large beaver, if my guess is right. Thus far I have observed that the people here are strong-willed and able-bodied, if a bit dim. They appear to follow a set of simple yet barbaric customs, which I have witnessed many times in my few short days here. On the first morning of the expedition, our guide, a hard-faced native named Bjor, whose gnarled skin belies his true age, refused to leave camp until he had consulted the entrails of a freshly slain crow. Not to eat, not to brew some foul concoction, but to plan our conveyance around the finer details of the bird's innards. His nocturnal behaviors are no less strange, and the early hours of the third morning, whilst relieving myself in a nearby bush, I caught a glimpse of him returning to camp covered in all manner of gruesome fluids, his face smeared with blood as if he had bathed in it. The evidence of another barbaric ritual, I assume. In any case, I digress. Though I find them quite odd and more than a little primitive, it is these very customs that I've come to study. Though it's a bit outside my current task, it bears recording here. Our guide has mentioned quite regularly, in fact, that other intelligent peoples dwell in these lands, or perhaps people is a bit generous. By his colorful descriptions, I surmise that they are more beast than person, yet he claims they hold complex customs, follow a rigid social structure, and will tax travelers careless enough to pass into lands they occupy. He seems to admire them for some reason. Mysterious indeed. I should very much like to observe these natives. Alright, did a quick step away there, and now I'm back. And... back out here. Cairnstone. Cairnstone thing's new. Guessing that'll drop. Well, hopefully something a little bit more than the standard. Ooh, what's over there? Missed that. So I'm going to try and be pretty thorough here.
I can't do that yet.
One drawback to me doing this on Elite is I'm going to have a lot of quests over to the right here that I don't do thorough Elite playthroughs. So we'll see if the actual quests for Forgotten Gods show
That
up here.
skill's not ready.
Or if they're just buried at the bottom. Probably buried at the bottom. Oh, that's right, there's supposed to be a thing, isn't there? Let's see. Is this gonna work? Nah. Alright. Excellent. I'd seen some other streamer do that when they were previewing the 1.3 patch. It's very, very handy, that feature. I think it may reset every time I start the game, though. That's vaguely what I remember hearing. Got some woolly breeches. Wait, what? Not woolly breeches. I'd say it's a cold weather area. Woolly breeches would make sense. Seem very practical.
I can't do that yet. I can't do that yet.
Concerned because here at least that's kind of cool. For a little bit cute. I don't want my kids to see me play them. That might upset them a little bit. They just watched Hoppers not that long ago. And the little beaver voices were cute though. They're probably going to appreciate me slaughtering people. Ooh, looks like we had a dungeon up there. Let's figure out what happened to my OA. This used to be like 3,200. I changed something on my gearing. Apparently inadvertently. It's much worse. I had to change devotion a little bit. Shouldn't have affected away that much, I don't think. This is when I was taking down the Ravager. I changed things. Because this used to be 3,200. Which is good enough to crit pretty much everything.
I can't do that yet.
The amount of OA on some of these things get dialed down. Still is OA there. I don't know. Oops.
That skill's not ready.
That I don't know. My Blade Spirits had Boomer down. Okay, so that's a looping attack. I was wondering what that weird animation was where I saw something coming up out of the sky. Looks like it's a jump attack from the birds. Or a dive attack or something. Okay, that looks like it's probably going forward. Waterfall. Zelda me! Zelda me! This looks like... No. Anytime I see like a little nub like that sticking off the map in Grim Dawn, I'm like, ooh, potential secret area.
That skill's not ready.
I've probably missed a few so far. Glad there's a decent things here. I was a little bit worried if there was going to be like just the little Wendigo guys from the Asterkarn Road area hanging out here. Wait, are you a secret? No, you're not a secret. Oh well. I'm just not going to start rotating the camera at this point in my Grim Dawn playthrough career here. That is just not going to happen. Ice Howl Cavern. Maybe a lure note? Give me a lure note. No. I'm surprised I've gone pretty far into here and I've You'll be a quest later. I will do you now. Then I will come back to the village later. And they will say, go kill the Sith Ice House. I'll be like, I have already done that. Like you had this one or something. Is that it? Okay. Covenant of Sith Spines. Star Package. List. Cold damage is probably from... Yeah, I don't think that's for me.
I can't do that yet.
Alright. That was compact, is what that game was. Ooh, do we have our first secret? We do. Burn cluster. Totally normal behemoth. So one of the left-handed items. We got a secret. See, two guy holding two shields. That's a sign that one of the left-handed things will be nearby.
I can't do that yet.
I remember way back in the day when Grim Dawn first came out. One of the first streamers I remember watching, the guy who I found out about this game was the streamer Wolf Overclocked, and he was famously lefty. Well, he mentioned he was a lefty a lot.
I will not begrudge a traveler a place by the fire in these winds, as Amatok teaches us.
What do you have in mind? Another bristlethorn we call Rugru. Roams north of here. He's past his prime. Kill the piggy. Alright. I think that's what the bristlethorns probably are.
Just
Don't start it.
It's like I was saying. He was like the streamer I learned this game about. So I've always like wondered. And I think he was for a lot of people. At least back in the day. In whatever that was, circa 2016, 2015, whatever. I think he was probably the biggest Grim Dawn streamer, or like I said, one of them. And he always mentioned he was left-handed, and then all these left-handed items showed up in here. I always wondered if that was for him. I'm not sure. Nice relaxing channel to listen to, by the way. Wolf Overclocked Games. I don't think he does much stuff anymore. At least not on YouTube. He made a stream on Twitch. Hey, piggy. Choice flank. This is not quite Souls-like in terms of lore here. What does it say there? Cut of meat from the elder bristle horn Rugru. Plenty to feed several hungry mouths by the length of the bonfire.
That skill's not ready.
So it's a little bit weird here, going into new content and not having that much more planned advancement for this character. Most of the advancement we're going to be doing is on classes and stuff here, which I've previewed a little bit on Grim Tools. So it'll be interesting to see how those different kind of combinations of things unlock. Just the various types of flasks, the different upgrades on them. Curious to see how that works. I am pretty, not 100% blind, but I'm pretty blind with this. So that's why, like, when I see a monster frequent drop, I'm going to take a look at it and see what it looks like.
These lands are not for the
Yes, I bring meat. What do we got? More frost ointment. Have you seen the Legion scouts? I admit I was not forthright. We did spot your party traveling north. They were ill prepared for the weather and the beasts that await up there. The commander seems to live in the middle of these lands, or they are desperate. I do not lie. If they have not returned this way, they are likely dead, but I do hope you find the remains. Take care. Should use sunscreen, bro. By the way, use sunscreen. As someone who is old and has had to have things chopped off of his face and gone through that whole we caught it early phase, wear your fucking sunscreen. Hats are not enough. What is this? Fulminated tree. UPF 50 hats and all that kind of stuff. You're bullshit. My dermatologist, after like I had a positive biopsy on my face, she's like, no, it's hats and sunscreen, honey. And I'm like, why are they fucking advertising them then? It's been shattered by a lightning strike. Okay, so that'll be a quest location or something. I'm fine. That was a long time. Well, not that long ago, but a little while ago.
I can't do that yet.
I just need a cooler story for the scar than, oh, I didn't wear enough sunscreen, so like, you know, I always want to tell people, you know, I got it fighting the Kaiser in the trenches or something like that, you know. That's what my scars were, not from sunscreen as a kid and an adult. My young invincibility syndrome for stuff like that extended well into my 20s. Which is today. I'm not gonna lie. Initial impressions. This is a little bit like my initial impressions of Shadow of the Earth Tree. You can spend a lot of time bragging about the size added to the game
Skill's
world.
not ready.
One of the things when I first played Grim Dawn and you're just going out around Devil's Crossing, it seems like there's a quest around every corner.
That skill's not ready.
And I've gotten you know, there's like all the people you have to find and bring back to Devil's Crossing. You just run into people as you're going around there. Luther Graves, the guy who's carrying cabin somewhere, like driving his back, all that good stuff. Granted, I'm not that far in, but one quest because in the first half an hour here seems light, considering how far I've come. Always some celestial countries, but you always have to complete Kuba. It's been a while, my old friend.
That skill's not ready.
This is I'm running out of energy. I'm not paying attention to that. This build has an energy deficit at the moment. So if I don't remember to to be drinking my energy potions as I'm kind of like going through levels. Going down in levels, I should say. Not going down in levels. As I'm like taking it down, then I will run into issues regarding that. All those guys. So the reason you always do totems is that they have really good drops. Blueprints and stuff like that. I still don't have all the blueprints. Like, having thousands of hours of this game.
That skill's not ready.
Anything? Got anything for me? Alright, so I hopped off to check the audio levels there of what I was recording, and it's bad. Turning the master volume down a little bit further, sound effects volume down a little bit further, everything down. Okay.
That skill's not ready.
I am just not used to recording like this, so you'll have to bear with me. Or more likely, you've already stopped listening. But that's okay, too. I'm playing the game and having fun. You
Can't do that yet.
Soul Lance, is that new? Doesn't sound familiar to me for some reason. No, that's not new. No, it's not new either. Those are destined to be blown up. The Demolitionist is the best source of rare crafting materials in the game. I'm a big item crafter. That's crafted, that's crafted, those are crafted, that's crafted, that's crafted.
I can't do that yet.
And I will craft dozens of something to get like the roll I want on it. So I spend a lot of time getting aether crystals, a lot of time getting rare crafting materials. And the best way I've always found to get rare crafting materials is to blow up legendaries. Because you just get so many of them. What are you? Look at you! Oh, you are dead. Are you the new Drangools sort of thing? If I saw something that said new Drangul models or something. Yeah. First impressions, empty. It's like, I much prefer the base game to the Shattered Realm. Because the Shattered Realm is just like areas of fighting like this. That's what it says. Okay. Oh. I use your devotion. You should like me. I use the Behemoth rock. Or Behemoth Giant's Blood thing on the Behemoth. We should be friends. It's kind of cool how they're doing that, where they have... I saw on the map there was the Ulos area, which is Keeper of the Waters. They kind of do that in every expansion, I think, a little bit. Okay. We have another Rift Gate, which we are going to unlock here. Sort of. Eventually. Maybe. Kind of. Sort of. So yeah, Shadow of the Erd Tree for Elden Ring had a lot of big pretty areas. It just didn't have much in them. Getting that vibe here. Like, you know, you'd go running down and you'd, like, discover the Cerulean coast and be running around in that. There'd be, like, 3 things worth doing down in there. Obviously the big entrance down to Flower Lady. Partner looks in rough shape. You'll require medical aid. No doubt. Will you help us? What could I do? Cold emanating from the plumage. Rock nests to the west. Can't be fresh feathers for the live ones. I will get you feathers. To the west. Which is where the Veg'meat was. It's a real gate. So yeah. There were large swaths of Shadow of the Erd Tree. It just seemed like acreage added for acreage's sake. And I guess there was that in the base game too. Maybe it just seemed cooler because it was new. Like, you know, running through Limgrave down to where you get to Kenneth Hates, just like this big sweeping thing where you can see far away. But yeah. I need to backtrack to there. Actually, I did do that, right? You are purple. You know, this is not necessarily a negative thing to have big empty areas in here. It's just a comment.
That skill's
I
not
missed some
ready.
stuff up here. Maybe that's what's going on.
That skill's not ready.
It was one of those things where they were very much focused on the acreage in the pre-game. Pre-game hype releases were very focused on size. And there was a little bit of me that was like, eh.
I can't do that yet.
Just because, well, size can be a good thing. It's not necessarily the most important thing. I was personally more interested in like the new features, the flask systems, the other stuff, so we haven't gotten to that yet. Alright, I am actually going to go back to a town somewhere before I trigger this guy. You're not even forsaken, you're only a lonely regular one. Lowly regular one. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, the
Anything you like?
base game, early portions of it seemed packed for Grim Dawn. And that got hooked. That got me hooked. This is less packed so far. What do you do? It's 3 to Blade Spirit, Glacial Frostplume, Aether to Cold. I don't have much Aether damage. Glacial Talons, Ill Omen. Okay. That might be good for a Spellbreaker, though. I do have a Spellbreaker, one of my other characters. He was probably my favorite base game character was a Spellbreaker. Doing the, who's in my guts? Oh, I sold my Ravager's Gaze. I don't need that. Actually, you know, I'm going to keep that just in case that can be ascended or something. Because it's not easy to get. Even even though it is not particularly good. I'm going to just put that in the stash before I accidentally sell it again.
Storage, no questions asked.
Oh, new stash arrangement. Okay. I moved reagents to my stash. Where are they? And where is the... Okay. So that's there. Can unlock these. Yes, more stash space. That is a good addition. I'm going to have to spend some time offline moving that stuff over. I'm not going to do that here. Okay. Let's hop back in here for a second. Oh wait, no. I didn't want to go there. Go to my personal rift. Pop this guy.
That skill's not ready.
Give me a spectral longsword that's good. And Mythical Tempest of the Void can be upgraded. Okay. So maybe I can upgrade the Ravager's thing. Cannot. I guess because he's already got the legendary version of it. I imagine that will be more and more prevalent with expansion content. They'll add more of those things that can be upgraded. Let's see.
I can't do that.
QOL stuff is pretty good so far, I will say that. More stash space. More stash space. The gems being able to be sent directly there from the inventory. Those are good things.
That skill's not ready.
So those are positives so far. Opportunity part 2. We found more.
Not ready.
We found something. Snow to stain with bloody fingerprints. No one has ever asked, and I have never said, but now that your guts adorn the snow, I feel it only fitting you know why. I am half corn, you slith piss drinker. Breck, son of Uleth, who died giving me life breath. My father, Marker, was never among the people of Asterkarn, and my mother's passing extinguished what little grace he had with them. So he came to live in his homeland. I never learned the ways of my mother's people, but my father always spoke of them with great reverence and respect. I've walked these hills many times, met the people of the lands. They are harsh and unforgiving, bearing grudges older than any living man. But they have come to recognize kin within me and welcome me beside their hearths. It is my eyes, you see. They carry the sorrows of this land in ways that only a kern may recognize. I have traveled beyond the highlands and witnessed the beauty of the valley below, and I have seen the halls of Kernhold and drank deep of Kern mead. While a part of me wishes to spend a lifetime here learning their ways, I did not grow up Kern and still feel my Ireland blood calling me home. This is not where I belong. I did learn a few things, though. For one, Kern burial rites are an important reminder of what was lost. They call them scars because every hurt and loss brings healing. It leaves them tougher, stronger. Their belongings are left behind for worthy successors to bring new-found glory to old tools and weapons, not to be pilfered by rats. You should pray that the Kern ways do not apply to you and their lands. Left to rot in the snow as you are, alone and forgotten. If you believe the myths, yours will be a fate worse than death. I'm not sure even you deserve such an end, but it seems a fitting reward for the hate and vitriol that you have shown the people you despise yet know nothing about. Breck, son of Yeleth and Markor. Okay, we missed a little area down there. Let's see, all those little... is that a secret? Are you a secret? No. I always think back to the little merchant guy that I buy my spectral longswords from. He's down one of these little peninsulas here. No? Nothing? Alright. I think we're getting good map coverage. You, though. You. No? But you're a waterfall. You have to have a secret. That's the good kind of trope. Alright, so as I was saying, a little while ago anyways, did we just kill you? Oh, I just, my Horus killed him. So let's see. I don't like the Shattered Realm because it's just big rooms of just fighting enemies, and I get bored of it very quickly. This is almost that. I'm not giving up. This is not to be like, this is way too preliminary to be making statements like that, but it just feels like a lot of empty area defense and not much else yet. Hopefully that changes soon. You know, the lore and the world setting is what makes this game better than a lot of the other isometric ARPGs out there, in my opinion anyways. And that comes from, you know, the lore documents and the quests, for the most part. Not just big areas to walk around. Hello, Garnier the Lost. Did I have a quest for you? It's kind of indicating like I did. I don't remember. It's probably y'all. This Kern came out of nowhere and distracted the beast while we crawled to safety. It was only a matter of time. Alright, so these are the guys I was looking for.
You wield strange magics, Lowlander. But that was an
It's not
impressive
my
feat.
first time contending with the
talent
void.
of he who dwells below creation reaches farther with every passing moon. Not even the beasts of Asterkarn are spared his putrid touch. It is my people, the Kern, have long contended with the darkness. But I am no skald, and will not speak of such matters directly. I admit, I believed all Irunian soft.
So we need to go to the barbarian city.
Ancient meeting place of the clan chiefs, and the last safe bastion in a dying land.
And by barbarian, berserker. Somewhere in between a barbarian and a druid. Yeah, I don't know why shape-shifting classes... Oh, I just killed a rabbit. We have a pet rabbit. Another reason my kids can't watch this expansion. I was already killing beavers. Now I killed their pet. They're just going to be so sad with me. I was playing Quest for Glory 4 with them, and it's got like a joke enemy that's kind of like the Monty Python rabbit that's in it. And boy, did that upset my youngest daughter when she saw us fighting a little rabbit and destroying it. Despite the fact that the rabbit was the aggressor and chased me down. She just did not understand that. My oldest daughter can figure out that it's a game. The youngest daughter did not like seeing the bloody body of her rabbit on the ground after Daddy chopped them. Okay, now there's getting to be more stuff here. This is good. It's a little bit better anyways. We need to go back to Fort Icon. Oh, shit. folk. The Wanderer, Diablo 2 reference. I journeyed through the frozen wastes, devoid of my home and hearth. My people gone, my duty buried beneath the ashes of war, there was no shelter along my path, only the blinding white of untainted snow. Cruel gods denied me a battle, death alongside my kin, I walked alone, a warrior without purpose. If blades would not separate my head from my shoulders, then I would let the snow claim me along with my shame, when a blizzard struck me with blinding force, its icy winds cutting through flesh and bone like a banshee's cry. I thought my death denied had come at last. As the bitter cold dragged me down amidst the swirling snow, I laid myself to rest upon the frozen ground. Snow would be my mound, the stars my final witness. Then a figure appeared through the flurry. Bale. Slung across his shoulders was the steaming carcass of a deer he had only moments before brought down. Dropping the beast beside me, he drew his knife and split it open its belly. Without hesitation, he tore away the piece of the still warm flesh and offered it to me. And of course it wasn't Bale. Bale was the guy pretending to be Tyrael, but whatever. Anyways, the Wanderer was Diablo, with the soulstone in his head. The Diablo 1 protagonist. Never mind. I'm ruining the lore. Eat and be strong, he said. The cold cannot pierce a body filled with warmth and blood. I admit I hesitated and did not reach for the offering at first, but as I lay there in the snow, I finally saw the Wanderer clearly. His features were cold and angular, his incisors unnaturally sharp, and his eyes gleamed, a piercing yellow through the storm. The beast's life breath was given willingly so that yours might continue. Wojuk, warrior without a tribe. The Wanderer spoke once more. Will you squander this gift, or will you allow its strength to join with yours? I grasped the meat and ate it raw. I felt the blood pour through my teeth and stain my beard, as warmth poured back into my limbs, and my heart beat with renewed purpose. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then the Wanderer turned and walked away without a word, disappearing into the heart of the blizzard. I watched him leave until his silhouette became one with the cascading snow. I never saw the Wanderer again, but I'll never forget his mercy so long as my life still draws breath into my lungs. The stag's horns will adorn my helm until I, at long last, meet my destined death. Guarded by Malekith. I'm mixing up my games. The Wanderer, reference to Diablo 1, Destined Death, on Elden Ring. Wonder if that's intentional. It very much could be. Obviously Diablo influence for these. All of these ARPG type games like this. I never actually played Titan Quest. The setting just didn't seem interesting to me. I used to read a lot of Greek myth books. So one I grew up on when I was a little kid. There was a Norse myth book and a Greek myth book. I always like the Norse myths better than Greek. A little more interesting to me. So a Greek myth setting was not for me really in Titan Quest. I think that's what it was anyways. Dialores, something like that, books of Greek myths and books of Norse myths. I made sure to buy the Norse myth ones for my kids and read them. The pictures are kind of like these cool. It looks like pencil drawn, but I think it's really more like wood block or something like that. This is our third nest. Good. This is our fourth nest, which we don't need. It's going to let me pick it up. Do I have extras for ultimate? I do have extras for ultimate. Waterfall. Nope. What's the noise in Zelda? Or something like that. Can you discover a secret? I can't do it. Whatever that sound effect is, my voice is not capable of rendering it correctly. More note, more note. No, you're just gonna be food. Where were these people? The people who wanted the rock feathers. I think you're over to the right of here, right? Seems faster to do this than to run back. Was I fast enough for you? Has he frozen to death? Can I run up that tree? Is that a secret passage?
Watch yourself out there.
Frozen aster is a rare sight, highly potent. Hope Nokken makes it.
It's an honor.
Should read these. Brilliant flower with petals that are as light and fragile as the morning frost. A wretched totem made from human bones bound in leather, no doubt sourced from the same victim. Those are for quests that I haven't done yet. I should just put those away. Friend to the Kern. Are you a secret passage? One of those someday will be a secret passage. You run up the tree and it takes you to a hidden area. How about you? How about you? You're down all the way to the snow. Can I run up you? No. Secrets are also a big part of the enjoyment of this game. I am not good at watching, good at finding them though. There was I remember watching some other streamer going through Cronley's hideout. Not Cronley's hideout, like outside of it, the Four Hills, whatever it is. And apparently I've run through that area like 7,000 times and never realized there was like outside of one of the kind of palisades for one of the forts. There's like, you just go around the cliff edge and there's like a secret out there. And I'd like run past that so many times. Tens, you know. I'm not a hundreds of playthroughs person on this game, but definitely when you consider run-throughs on different difficulty level, definitely in the tens of playthroughs here. I tend to go deep into single builds and not a breadth of builds in ARPGs. I just come up with something I like, play it for a while, and I don't do like builds diarrhea. I'm just constantly spitting out the ones. Well, and I also don't post many builds just because mine aren't good. I just do things for fun for the most part. This parchment is quite old and faded by time. Our progress continues at a frustratingly slow pace. Each morning we wait as our guide consults his gods on our best path forward. I am no closer to achieving my goal than when I left friendly lands weeks ago. Even with my untrained eye, I spot numerous signs of civilization. Path markings, small sites of worship where offerings are made to unknown gods, remnants of temporary camps. Yet Bjor continually steers us away from the beaten path. He forces us to hike along the banks of rivers or pick our way through flooded bogs, all while claiming the hewn paths which are obviously made for human conveyance and are too dangerous for travel. 2 nights prior, Bjor berated and threatened my assistant Buxley, it's a great butler name, for attempting to fell a small tree to use for firewood. When I questioned him about it, he would give me no reason, saying only we must not cut any of the trees along the river's edge. As soon as we reach civilization, I plan to hire a new guide and leave before Bjor can follow. Okay, we're gonna go back, uncover some of these, and hopefully we will be getting close to civilization soon. Kind of want to get to a city or something interesting here pretty soon. Oh, we should go back to Fort Icon too. Next waypoint, I'll go back to Fort Icon, see if that guy gives me anything for that little quest. Secret there. Alright. Let's get going here.
That skill's not ready.
That is a... need to check the settings to see if they've ever gotten rid of the... Oh, wait. Did they fix the cursor? Is there a cursor scale built on now, or do I still have to download that? I was hoping they would do something on the UI to make the cursors bigger, because I lose the cursor on here a lot. It does not look like it. Like, I wish there was something on here to use extra large cursors. Oh well. Do.
I can't do that.
Oh. There are new factions. Bloodbound. Kern tolerated. Nothing back there. Sometimes you see these little, like, things going off the map like that, and at a later date they'll patch in an area. Like a dangerous domain or something. A lot of times it's like little bridges and stuff like that that are put in. I wonder if they're going to be doing that here. The road light dungeon is coming at a later date. We shall see. I really like the fire and forgets that I get on this class, where it's basically like, I get a big group like that, I just have to throw down my thermite mines and a blackwater cocktail, and it's essentially dots. It's like, I just run by the trash mobs here, and they're dead.
I can't do that yet.
Anything interesting? Graphically looks nice. The area looks nice. Just wish there was more. Veg'meat. My 16th winter, I, Takan, make my lone blood pilgrimage to Frostvale. It is only the second time I have performed the rites of blood and ice. But I am proud that Algir feels I am ready to do it alone, proud and heavy with burden, for I feel my father's gaze upon me as my great honor to offer my lifeblood to the ritual stones, a small bit of my blood, to renew the bonds of kin and keep the way home lit for the spirits trapped beneath the ice. I do this for all our fallen. It is my greatest honor to do this for my father still lying beneath the snow. One day, the ice will thaw and we will perform the proper burial rites. My father will cross beyond the veil to be reunited with Mother. And when at last I draw my final life breath, I will see him again. Until then, I will do my duty. Duty.
That skill's not ready.
So if I'm comparing game styles between this and something like Elden Ring, I think the biggest weakness of Elden Ring is something that, for me, is something that people love about it. And that is kind of the obfuscated lore, where you get like one sentence of lore on every potential item you can pick up on the game. And from that, it builds careers for people of piecing all those things together to stream online. It creates, you know, it's actually a great marketing thing to have people who create all these lore videos, which I will admit I watch. That said, I much prefer this actual game and world building style where instead of 3,000 individual sentences, you find paragraphs. The way it's done here and in the Elder Scrolls game, I greatly prefer that to the Souls-like style. which I've heard is actually based off of... Oh, you're a cool looking guy. You actually almost look like Artorias. I've never played Dark Souls, but I'm familiar with watching other people play him. You know, I've heard that Miyazaki came up with that style based on reading books that he couldn't translate well. You know, English language books or other books that weren't in his native tongue. And so it was hard for him to follow it all. So he kind of came up with that hard to follow style accordingly. Now the strength of that is something that is lost in a lot of modern storytelling, which is one of the best things you can do in storytelling is leave gaps for people to fill in with their imagination. Leave them wanting more. You know, didn't need to know that midichlorians were shit. Just leave the force magic. That's all you had to do. Fucking Lucas. Leave magic in the world. Leave things that are unclear in the world. Oops. I should not have done that. Okay, phew. I was worried that was going to be a, moment. It was like some of those portions of the game where you walk through something and then all of a sudden you can't walk back, and I had missed that rift. Let's see. But yeah, that aspect of the Souls-like storytelling I like. It leaves a lot of gaps for your imagination, which lets you headcanon things and just ask questions that are interesting. Never tell the complete story. Tell enough of it to make people think and have fun with it. But that said, I think they go a little too far with just random one-liner snippets, because I honestly don't want to read that many individual sentences. I would rather, the way my brain is set up, I would rather read a paragraph than open up 5,000 items and read a one-liner from each one. So I think this is a good balance in terms of world building versus that Souls-like style of world building. Me like this better, but they both work. Because yeah, there are still enough gaps in the world lore here that you're kind of curious. You know, things like in the devotion tree where you just kind of get these mystical names of things, and they just pop up on items. You know, like names like Belgothian and Markovian and stuff like that. That is really simple depth in a world where you just throw out a repeated name of a hero, but give next to no information about it. And that's something this game does really well. And sometimes that's baked into skills, sometimes that's baked into item drops. Lots of different ways to do it in here. That is done. The storytelling and world building in this game is phenomenal. And I hope that keeps up here. I must have missed something in here. There is probably a secret area off one of those that I missed. I'm not going to go back now, though, and do that. Let's see.
That skill's not ready.
Ooh, arcane. Always kill arcanes first. There is nothing that screws you up more than having all your buffs ripped off. Thankfully they are squishy. And very well labeled. I think that was a lessons learned from when Ashes of Malmeth first came out. I'm trying to remember if arcanes initially had that giant symbol on top of them. I feel like they didn't. But now they do, and the world is a better place. Okay. I haven't even gotten a dangerous domain yet, have I? Wouldn't surprise me if I missed one. Or I wonder, those tend to come out later as well, those little side areas. Oops. Wrong clicky. ethereal mutagen.
I can't do that yet.
You have a nice icy passageway.
I can't do that.
Reused monster types. That's fine. I mentioned earlier that I was hoping this wasn't full of those. It's okay to reuse them in here. I just didn't want them to be the primary enemy for all these new areas. The little Wendigo type guys. At least it looked like them. There might have been some sort of mesh change there. This area. This is like a throwback area. I kind of like the design of this. The last room, which was just a winding hallway, I didn't particularly care for. A lot of the early flooded passage type rooms in the beginning part of Grim Dawn, they had like this woven verticality to them that I like a lot. Where you're going above and over things. Something as simple as that bridge crossing over makes these maps so much more interesting than like the flat procedural maps that you get in like
Do that yet.
Diablo games and stuff like that. I love handcrafted maps.
That
I would
skill's
rather
not ready.
replay and play, replay and replay and replay and replay a handcrafted map than a bunch of procedural ones. Procedural ones always feel procedural, no matter what. It is. You start seeing the set pieces in like different locations over and over again,
Do that yet.
and it just doesn't feel good. Where did that Lord Oak go? I know you're in there somewhere. Reinhardt's Notes, Entry 3. This parchment is quite old and faded by time. I grow more suspicious of our guide as the days pass. Though I am unfamiliar with the lay of the land, I am quite positive our intended destination, a citadel called Kernhold, was northwest of Fort Icons, yet by my calculations we continued to travel due north along the river's edge. When I confronted Bjorn about our route, he refused to address my concerns and was quick to point out that I have very little experience in the wilds, a fact I cannot refute. Worse yet, my assistant Buxley wandered off in the early hours of the morning. I suspect he intended to bathe himself in a nearby stream, as I left his furs in a heap near his bedroll. I certainly can't blame him. It has been several days since I have bathed, and I fear the scent of these putrid furs may never wash off. And apparently, it seems like he has gone and gotten himself lost. What do you expect with a name like Buxley? I fear for the boy, as his nature is softer even than my own. Ever so helpful, our guide Bjor, and Buxley's like a name of someone designed to die. Ever so helpful, our guide Bjor refuses to search for Buxley. Claiming the gods forbade us, I want him to come back now and be a hero. I want Buxley to be a badass now. I really want it. Claiming the gods forbade us to leave our path, or some such foolishness, even now as I have ordered us to hold camp until Buxley's return, Bjor grumbles and curses, cutting me down with his eyes. It's good that it was only his eyes, as he sharpens his weapon. His weapon, which I had not noticed before, is nothing more than a humble stick, a stick which he insists on sharpening daily. Once observed him using his teeth to peel pieces from it until he caught me watching and resumed the task with a jagged rock. These are strange folk indeed. Though I hope not to leave Buxley behind, we will soon continue our journey. I must reach Kernhold so I can complete my task here and return to the comfort and safety of the Empire. Bit of a jump cut there, sorry. AFK'd for a second. But I'm in the same place, still in the Icebound Passage here. Yeah, I stopped recording for a second and then forgot to record immediately as soon as I stopped there. Oh, you look, what's in here? What's in here? That looks like a pretty pedestal going on. You seem like a boss. It's like in Elden Ring when you walk into an area and it's like, that's a boss area. That looks like a boss room. Yep. Had boss room written all over it. It's like the spined cove or whatever. Let's see what your monster frequent does, buddy. White Lord's Helm of Thunder. Lightning Aether. Well, those might be the modifiers. Field Command, lightning damage. Primal Strike, 70% weapon damage. That's eminently farmable. I wonder if that's just this guy or if that's that monster type. %70 weapon damage is a lot. But it's a helm. And helms are plus to all skill slots. So yeah. Really good skill modifier, but on a really good slot. That would have to be some really good affixes to use that. You see my helm has +1 to all light blade and +1 to all specialists. I do not have nearly as much plus to skill items as I should. That's part of the reason why this particular character isn't very strong is I've eschewed, however you pronounce it, eschewed, done without as many plus to skill items as I normally use to get just cool effects and other things like that. And also a lot of damage conversion. So prioritize damage conversion over optimal plus to skills. If you're new, don't do that. If you're like me and you've played this game enough that you're bored with optimal, feel free to do it. It's weird how that happens for me in the progression of a lot of games like this. I will start out in a game and I will try to break the math. But then eventually it's just, I don't know. As I've gotten older, that's gotten boring. But trying to find like the perfect, oh, this kills this boss in 3 seconds faster than it killed the last time I did that. I'd rather just have fun the whole way through than focus on something that's optimized for a specific benchmark test. Like I've said many times, I like the feel of this character where I can just clear rooms pretty quickly. There really isn't that much of a difference, to be honest, between clearing rooms like this on Elite and clearing rooms on Ultimate.
I can't do that yet.
I haven't found it. I've not been looking for walls to break. That's part of my problem here. I should be mousing over a bunch of walls here, and I'm not. This corner down here. I feel like the boss, the farmable boss there, was probably the most interesting thing to find in here. You gonna wrap around here? No. The Briarthorn models there, I don't know what it is. They always struck me as the most dated enemy model in Grim Dawn. There's something about it that seems very old school. It's neither good nor bad. It's not like a criticism necessarily. It just seems very like you'd see in like an older original like Fable game or some old, really old 3D game would have something like that in it. You emerge from the passage into the valley below, and we will make sure to unlock that. Have we reached civilization at long last? That, right there. You'll be one, won't you? No, you won't. What about you? No. One of these days. One of these days. I will find another secret passage here. I thought this was going to be civilization. Maybe not.
That skill's not ready.
sort of civilization. The Castoran Flood. Remembered in the tales of the eldest ancestors, Lothulak the Hunter was born among a tribe now forgotten who dwelt upon the banks of the Volder River. One spring when the river should have run fierce and full, its waters dwindled day by day, until only trickle remained. Troubled by this omen, the tribe sent a band of hunters to seek the river's source and learn what had become of its waters. Among them traveled the young Lothulak, already renowned for his skill with the bow. After a day's journey, they beheld a mighty barrier of timber, unlike anything the Kern had ever seen. Upon it sat many Castorans, watching as though they had awaited the hunters' coming. As the hunters drew near, the Castorans scurried to either side, and working together drew huge logs, acting as pins, from the heart of the structure. At once, the dam burst open, unleashing a roaring wall of water and loose timber. The hunters fled, but none could outrun the flood. Only Lothulak survived, having scaled the tallest tree he could find. Though the torrent tore the tree from the earth, it endured long enough to bear him downstream until the waters calmed. At last, Lothulak reached dry land and made his way home. Yet, where his village had stood, nothing remained but mud. No hall, no hearth, nor any trace of his people could be found. The flood had claimed them all. There, amid the ruin of his tribe, Lothulak swore a mighty oath. He would become the greatest hunter the Kern had ever known, and for every soul lost to the cursed Castorans, 100 of their kind would fall by his hand. Are those the beaver people? Man's got beaver problems.
What are you doing?
What are you doing in my house? Get out. Why is it so cold around you? A curse. It was my wife. Ex-wife. Alright. I can still hear her chilling words. May you be forever lost in the cold and dark. Alright. Please speak to her. Alright. Marriage troubles.
I can't do that yet.
You seem to have... Okay, yeah, Castran and beavers here. We really need a beaver devotion in this game. Just so people can say beaver devotion more often. That is what Grimdawn needs. Well, they have the creative entertainment. That's goofy, sort of. And like the Gazer Man, they can do goofy. Give us beaver devotion, please. The world needs it. Humanity needs it. What do we got? I kind of want to go back. They had this like art on the Steam page talking about the size of the game and like, you know, how many quests were added and all that stuff. I'm interested in how the ratios compare. Like the amount of quests per the size of the game. It's an interesting metric in terms of how it affects feel of a game. You know, scope is not bad. What are these frost effigies, by the way? Doesn't really do anything for the skills I have. But sometimes these effigies have cool things. Judgment and Winds of Asterkarn. A lot of fucking damage. Pardon my French. The thing with those effigies is sometimes you'll find something that has a skill that you want, but they are very likely to stick to one damage type. So I think like there was like a Global Death effigy had a cool Phantasmal Blades modifier on it, which is great for the early game. But it's great for the early game because you can farm them pretty early in like Craig's Crags on normal before you can get anything to drop, like, you know, the what you call it? What's that offhand? There's an offhand that does a very similar thing. Mythical Speaker for the Dead. Before you can equip that, you can get that Global Death Effigy. But it only works if you're doing a Vitality build. Or only works well, because it is set up to have a preference to drop those Vitality damage things. So I'm guessing these Frost ones have a preference to drop Who's in my guts? Have a preference to drop Frost affixes like Chilled and Rime Frost. I found you guys.
I was expecting grim tidings when I asked you to search for the others. How can you be certain? They are
One of them fended off the creature and saved our scouts. I will be careful. You're not the guy. Alright. Let's see.
Come see what's left of my wares.
Dire Main Trophy of Wildfire. Blade Spirit is interesting, maybe. But Wildfire, is that a new affix? I don't know if I've seen Wildfire before. Has a lot of skill cooldown reduction. +3 to Blade Spirit, +1 summon, +1 summon limit. If that rolled with good affixes, that might be good. I wonder if it's got base Fire and Burn though, because that's bad for Blade Spirit. Similar to that thing I was talking about with the Vitality thing. The offhand from the Who's in my guts, what's in my boobs. Global Death Effigy, those guys. For Blade Spirit, you'd want that to be cold and pierce base. It looks like it might be fire base. I'll have to look it up on Grip Tools. Titan Serrated Spear. Bucklethian Spear. Drinker's Global Void Effigy. Canister Bomb. Piercing Vitality. Fire damage Vitality. Link. Bone Guard. Okay. Kind of mostly looking at skill modifiers first, and if I don't see anything interesting, I'm just going ahead and selling. Alright. Gonna have to go back and dismantle soon here. What are you? Rime Thorn Shield. Avalanche, Amatox Pack, Horn of Gondor. 60% weapon damage to Horn of Gondor, 100% piercing to cold. That could be interesting on an Inquisitor. Because it's Rime Thorn. That's elemental damage. It looks like it's base cold damage, because aggressive and of thorns. That could be an interesting item. I forget exactly what Horn of Gondor does. I think it's just, it doesn't have much of a skill tree, if I remember. Been a while since I used it. Alright. Anyways.
Iron well spent.
Back to the new stuff. Okay, hopping back in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it gets a lot denser up here. So I'm like, this seems like a big empty run, and I'm hoping we get a lot more interesting stuff here as we get closer. And those rift gates get packed closer together. What do we got? The Underking. Ooh. Newness. What are you? A new beast nemesis. I was about to say, I thought I already got what's his face here. Okay, that boulder's gonna suck. You saw how slow that boulder was. So that is gonna kill me 100%. Because, yeah. What are those guys? The golem-y guys that come out of the ground through that boulder? Like, that has one shot written all over it. Alright. Aggressive Underking's Chalices avoid fire. Fire, cold, improved casing element, supercharged grasping weapons. I will never use that. Give me something good. Alright, well, we got our first new nemesis. So one of the weaknesses of this build, in addition to the fact that it does shit damage, is if I throw stuff all over the screen, I can't see things like that boulder coming at me. So, like, Gravathul killed me in the base game. He's one of the Chthonic nemesis. Because I could not see his, like, one-shot attack coming at me. His slow-motion one-shot. Through all the fire and flaming tornadoes and all that stuff. Obfuscated by too much fire. On a cold build. So the same thing would apply with that Nemesis spawn on Ultimate. That boulder's gonna suck, and it's gonna hurt like crazy. Alexander's the other guy who has that. Archmage Alexander has that dropping out of the sky sort of thing going on. I kind of hope in these new areas here that Kuba can't spawn and it's only those new guys. I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll just have multiple nemesis spawn. And the reason I say that is I'm so sick of fighting Kuba. He is like, you know, beasts are typically the things you get to nemesis with first. They're everywhere in the game. It's not like Cromley's where you have to go and farm them to get them. Which I didn't even bother to do. I don't have Fabius unlocked on this character because I just don't want to. But you just fight Kuba so much. I'm at the point now where it's like, if I see him and he's off screen and he's not in the direction I'm going, like most Nemesis spawns I will go after. Because I want the Nemesis trove that they drop. I'm just done with Kuba. Fought him way too many times. And it's just... Oh, barrel? Jug? Or note. Damn it. Still waiting for the first jug I burst open to give a lore note. I probably passed by 17 of them that I missed. I want to go down a riverbank. I feel like somewhere there's going to be a riverbank you go down and find a secret vendor or something. Ooh, found something.
Hello there,
Hello there, friend. Let me a hand one more time. What else can I do? See, I'm a courier. Let's make my way to Colonel to deliver creative weapons. Thieves made off with my delivery. If you're to recover the crate for me, I'll pay you a finder's fee. Okay. At some point, a star will show up on my map that I have forgotten what it is for, and it'll be that guy's quest. His FedEx quest there.
Can't do that yet.
I think it was. And there it is. I got the creative entertainment. So I mentioned I was probably missing containers and things. There you go. There's a container I was missing that had a quest item or a little piece in it. Are you still here? Did you go back to a city? No, you went back to town. You couriered off away to curry your favor? Curry favor? Something? Whatever. Alright. I am ready to find a city. I think we're getting close. Old map. I'm probably getting close to that, I assume. I will probably stop when I make to that next city and take a break. And go do some other stuff. So it's been like the first little opening bit of content here. And we'll see how this goes.
That skill's not ready.
It's bad destroying the beaver's home, but there might be loot in it. So I'm torn. Still waiting for riverbank I can run down the side of. So many places in this game like that. That here, can I run down here? Or is that just...
That skill's not ready.
Ooh, that was dumb to stand up under Forbin. Ooh, we got another boss. Peace King. Give me an interesting monster infrequent. World Breaker Spear of Scorching, two-handed. Eye of Reckoning, is that the whirlwindy sort of thing? +4 to Thermite Mine, though. But it's two-handed, so I will never use it. Lightning to fire conversion on a plus Thermite Mine thing. That's not something that we're used to. You know, Thermite Mine can... That would be for a build where Thermite Mine is not the focus. Thermite Mine is just there if you often don't care about the damage it does. Which is probably how most people use it. And by most people, probably almost everybody who isn't me. Alright. Give us the tragic end to Scholar Reynard here. Where he turns into a white and starts, you know... Or his friend turns into a werewolf and kills him. And he finds Buxley's corpse. Or preferably, Buxley shows up and saves the day. And is now like a werewolf god. This parchment is quite old and faded by time. The unimaginable has happened. Less than an hour's walk from our camp, we found what was left of him. Buxley's body lay face down on the bank of the river. First he appeared like a small bear or similarly sized creature, but as we drew closer, I knew for sure it was him. I could see his bright blonde hair curling out from beneath the dark brown furs. Furs which I was quite positive he had left in camp earlier that morning. As I drew closer and turned over his body, I was assaulted by a vision that will stay in my mind's eye for the remainder of my days. He was posed on all fours like an animal, his arms and legs chewed off at the joints, his front teeth torn from his mouth, a look of mortal terror fixed to his face by the permanence of death. Around his body, along the bank of the river, countless trees had been felled. The stumps left oddly pointed, like rows of defensive spikes. I love this game. I fear this is some sort of message, though decoding its purpose is beyond me. Bjorn refuses to let us tend to the body. He just stands there at the edge of the clearing, staring blankly at the river. I can hear him even now, muttering to himself in some language I do not know. There are 3 of us now with the passing of Buxley. Despite what has happened, we must gather ourselves. We must continue our mission. It is my charge to gather and deliver this intelligence to the Empire, and I will not fail. Is that the beaver folk or something more insidious? 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 Insidious?
That skill's not ready.
Old man brain forgetting. You look interesting. At least we're getting lots of lore. So like this is one of those things where this is going to be good on a first playthrough and seem really slow on the second. Like you will use I will use merits on a further playthrough to skip all this because it just seems empty. The first saga. Behold the saga of Baal Eigen, whose name was once Sorkar. I say that, but you know there are things like that lightning struck tree later that'll probably do something. and it'll be interesting to come back to. And whose strength was known before he knew his own shadow. In his infancy, the omens gathered thick about him. As a babe, he gripped with such force that wood split and stone groaned beneath his grasp. The elders whispered so that no cradle could contain him. When first he found his feet and strode unsteadily into the world, fate tested him. He fell into the village well, vanishing down its black throat. From that darkness rose the shrieks of monstrous rats, ancient things that had gnawed at the roots of the earth itself. The villagers heard the splashing, the snarling, and the silence, and then the child returned. He climbed from the well, slick with blood, not his own, bearing the carcasses of the beasts across his small shoulders. The stones of the well were scored where his fingers had found purchase. From that day forth, none of them spoke of him as merely a boy. Years passed, and Sorkar grew, as storm clouds grew, heavy with promise and violence. No contest stood long before him, no beast that prowled the hills remained unbroken, yet his greatest trial came when the sky itself turned hostile. From the horizon swarmed ravens the size of war horses, their beaks and claws thrashing in the darkness. Panic seized the village, but Sorkar did not flee. He strode into the storm of wings. He seized the beasts from the air, shattered their beaks in his grasp, and dashed their bodies on the rocks. The river frothed red where he cast them, and the rapids carried their ruin far downriver. When at last the sky cleared, it was Sorkar alone who stood beneath it. The elders bowed his heads, and their daughters, fairest of the hearth fires, looked upon him not as one man, but as a force of nature given flesh. And he was granted both their hands in marriage, for it said that no single life could contain him. And two chicks at the same time. And he had $1 million and he got it. And no single bod could match the magnitude of his being. He who climbed from the dark, bearing death, scourge of the swarm. This was but the beginning of his legend. I don't think he's a devotion. Wait, actually, are there new devotions? I didn't think there were going to be. That is one thing I wish they added here. I think all the other... We don't need more devotion points. More devotions would be cool. Alright, where am I going? I am ready for civilization. One thing you may note is that I don't have rares turned off. Okay, so yeah, these are worn down like the spikes in the lore. Nice touch tying the lore to what we see here. So this is the beaver people. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I have, I am still picking up rares. As I mentioned somewhat earlier, I am very much a crafter in this game. And I burn through money like mad, crafting like $400,000 items over and over again to get the rolls I want. You know, it's like I re-rolled this thing with the, you can't craft this, but you can transmute it. So I wanted 19% skill damage reduction and good energy regeneration. And I re-rolled that thing so many times to get that. Same with making this guy here. Getting that so that it had the Thermite Mine modifier on it, and increased armor, and Aether Res. Those were the three things I wanted on it. I made so many of that thing. So I burned through cash like crazy on my characters, crafting things over and over again. That is also why I have 4 days of playtime on this one character, 100 hours. And that's taking into account... Ooh, the drunkard's hearth. That's taking into account that I'm reusing a lot of crafting materials from my stash. For the ruminations of Einar the drunken scald. The frigid god demands it, from icy throne commands it. An open hearth he proclaims, with meat and soups and leaping flames. On coldest nights when drunkards roam, here demands an I don't know the tune. And so I search for a place to rest of drunken fools. I am the best. I like that. That makes up for the lack of a beaver devotion. Of drunken fools, I am the best. I may use that. I bear a sigil. How do I know you did not murder him for the honor? I'm here to speak with High Chieftain. You do not mince words. Do what I have to. I'm going to sound vaguely threatening because I think it's a quest area and they're not going to do anything. Oh, did you just shoot a rabbit? Alright. Once we get in there and find the Rift Gate, I'm probably going to wrap this first little episode here. Titan Spear. Was that the one I'd found before? World Breaker Spear of Scorching. Titan Spear's Amarastus. Okay. So very quick first impressions. We got lore, as Grim Dawn does well. I like the lore so far. Right there, we had the best drunkard in the world lore. I like it. I like that. I'm going to go into the city because this feels like it's going out to a whole thing over there. It does feel big for the sake of big so far, and I'm hoping that there is some game event that changes that a little bit. More drinking poetry. From ruminations of Einar the drunken scald. From deepest bottle poured my foes, from their blood from cup and tankard flows. I plot my battle plans at first, no spear or shield I wield my thirst. Great heroes brace and stand their ground, but one by one I drink them down. I find myself at battle's end, lying on the ground again, as one does. Horse is shit. I love it. Dark road strode I boldly, boots shod brisk and steady. Stallions' leavings lay in waiting, soft and foul days fermenting. Heel sank deep in horses' apples, forest green with dark brown dapples. Curses split the evening air. A fool I am now standing here.
I can't do that yet.
I'm gonna have to come back and do a more thorough search of this area because I gotta wrap up here. But yeah, it does feel a little bit area for the sake of area's sake compared to the base game. I hope it gets denser as we continue here, and it looks like it will, just based on the world map and the progression of these gates. Like I said, unless I really needed to farm something in here, I might skip it in the future. Because it's just a long amount of running. But aside from that, you know, it's fun. It's still Grim Dawn. Good lore. Good world building. Looks pretty so far. I will continue playing. I'm not going to stop playing it because I've put so many thousands of hours in this game. Yeah. We'll continue at a future date.